When we are finally up a little breezy here. Good morning, everyone. It's Wealth Wellness Wednesday. We haven't been on in a few days, intermittently here and there, because so much is going on. We've got lots to talk about, obviously, coming off of election night, where it's Wealth Wellness Wednesday. Good morning. It's Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, wearing her, hold on, lovely shirt with two
Sistas. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0 on this Wealth Wellness Wednesday. And the first question or comment, we know, and I'm just going to start out by saying there's going to be a lot of chit chat today about politics. So if anybody is sensitive to that issue, we just wanted to let you know, because these are our views and how we feel about what's going on in our world today. But the first question or comment that I have is, by 9 o'clock, I think it was right before 9 o'clock, we knew what was going on with Florida when Governor DeSantis, the newly elected governor, came on with his beautiful family. What a speech. Why is it that all these other states are so, let's just be real, effed up?
Yeah.
That they can't get their shit together. That stuff in this day and age should not be going on. And the elected officials in those states and or counties, townships, however that works, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah, I hear, I can't remember which one, and maybe it's Pennsylvania, they're not going to get the results till Friday. You're talking about Florida is a massive state and really should be the really the playbook for every single state in our United States of America on how to run an election. Smooth, on time, certified, no shenanigans. And I don't understand why I do believe that there's other states that do embrace it. I know there's other states that do a good job too. But when you look at the vast majority of how big geographically and how many our population has grown, as we've talked about, because everyone's flocking away from the nastiness of their own state. His speech, Governor DeSantis' speech, was on point. It was postured. And my favorite quote of the night was, "Florida is where woke comes to die." And he said it with so much passion, because it's so true. We didn't close our schools down. Yes, we did the normal when the initial pandemic happened, of course, not knowing the virus was real. We embraced that. He embraced that. The way he's handled that, kids, the importance of children going to school, the whole nonsense and shenanigans about the ideologies of indoctrinating children, not happening in our state, how he handled the last storm and how he's already handling the storm that we're actually in the middle of coming down. It's like, oh, we already got branches coming down. Oh my goodness, I'm just looking out the window, all these palm trees are all bent. Okay, I won't go there. Anywho, Nicole is here, and I have no doubt that he's going to handle it. Then you go from that extreme, and I'm obviously going to talk, and we're going to talk because we're from the Northeast. We lived in the Northeast all our lives. Congratulations to New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. Even New York had some red seats coming, which really showed the power. Shame, 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 shame on Masshole. The state of Masshole. The governor-elect Healy wasted no time, and I'm going to actually give her actual quote from her, acceptance speech. "To every little girl and every little young LGBTQ person out there, I hope tonight shows you that you can be whatever you want to be." Now, while we should always embrace that all children have the right to be what they want to be, what do they aspire to be, what profession they want, or what talent, what passion. But she's specifically speaking to taking your child, and we're talking young children, because there's a lot of already Massachusetts hospitals that will go ahead and do these sex changes on these little girls, and embracing, that indoctrination of changing a child's sex at a very young age. is despicable. The other thing the despicable masshole state did, they had questions. All their questions passed, but let me tell you, the first two questions that passed, one, they want to raise taxes, and the Commonwealth of Masshole voted for it. Yay! Higher taxes. Second one, will you agree, or do you agree with giving illegals no paperwork? They don't have to show who they are. Licenses, driver's licenses. Yay! That voted. And then the other questions voted. Yes.
What the hell is going on? Like, if anybody thinks that
they didn't even flip, everything is blue. So they're a totally blue state. Like even New York got some red seats. So the state of Masshole got no red seats. So there's no balance of we the people. And not only that, they voted. So, what I say to somebody, and of course now the narrative on many news stations, and, I don't watch the news. Obviously I watched it last night because, I wanted to see what was going on. And we're not even going to go into all the other states, which we will in a bit. But the fact remains that, now they're playing the Monday night quarterback. Well, what happened to the red wave? In my interpretation of the red wave is probably more different, and is definitely different than most conservatives, because I didn't look at the red wave and the mannerism of how it was being marketed. So let's get that one thing straight, that the red wave was a marketing tactic tool. I didn't, necessarily agree with that. That's the way they did it, but, conservatives, that's what they did. My perception now of the red wave, or how I always interpret it, really just meant change to make sure there's a flow and the wave of the action of making sure that everyone's got a place at the table and that all voices are heard. And a lot of times you've got to kind of reshuffle, and how a wave comes up and over and kind of cleans and gets rid of stuff and then comes up and over. So that's how I interpret it. Well, now this is my new interpretation of what the red wave means. That this country still needs to bleed. Sadly, those that voted for blue, your vote means that you agree to a recession. Your vote means that you agree more crime. Your vote agrees to mean defund the police. Your vote means basically socialism for all these free government handouts. Your vote goes to making sure that illegals get more benefits than like even our vets or our first responders need. Your vote goes for higher inflation, higher gas prices, oil, you may not even be getting any more oil, electricity bills going up, your grocery bills going up. So understand that while a lot of people are using the marketing tool of the red wave in a kind of a negative light this morning, first off, they did gain quite a bit of seats. There is more balance of power, and we're still waiting, obviously, on some elections. So there is the possibility that they still will gain Congress. Senate is still up for grabs because of the shenanigan states and that nonsense. However, understand, blue, you voted to bleed more. And embrace it. I don't want to hear one blue person complaining about gas prices. I don't want to hear one blue person saying, oh my God, the cost of eggs, a dozen of eggs has gone up. I don't want to hear one blue person that decided to go to this freedom state of Florida and you brought your own shenanigan votes with you to start bitching when, you can't get something. Because, Florida, as much as we've got that freedom and we've got the most amazing governor, I think, and he's got a bright political future, the fact remains that we still rely on things that come from shipping, that come from trucking. Those things are all impacted by inflation and recession. So I don't want to hear all these blue people bitching. So that's my thing is blue people, don't bitch.
And here's the other thing with that. Think about how your goods get to the grocery store, okay? Now, when I was driving back from Pennsylvania yesterday, I heard that, I don't remember the name of the town, but this whole huge area ran out of diesel gas. Guess what gets your goods to your store? Diesel gas.
And think where you were. You were in the state of what? Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Who's from Pennsylvania?
All the, Fetter Fly or whatever the hell his name is.
You think, and that's why I think between that and then you've got the Arizona, I think the most obvious, egregious BS of the election is going on in Arizona right now. That is far more egregious.
Oh my God, don't even get me going on that. You know what? Here's the thing, that election official who is running against Carrie Lake, who oversees the election, yes, by all means, she should have effing recused herself from being the election official overseeing her. Like, I just don't get it.
No, and it gets to the point where do you go with that? And when you say, well, I don't understand, why would people vote for that? There's two reasons. Either they're that woke or they're that stupid. There's nothing in between. There's no, well, wishy-washy this, oh, I only vote party. At some point, common sense needs to take over. But Blue, you voted on these states really trying to steal the hearts and minds of children by indoctrination. How do you sleep with yourself? Like, how do you sleep and wrestle that in your mind? So yes, I'm still happy that we still provided change for those states that know how to run things, that stood up. And certainly we were feeling the red feel of goodness, not in blood form, but in goodness that really came. I marked myself safe from Sist, who was running against Christ, I think it's called Christ, who was running against Governor DeSantis, and Governor DeSantis won by over 20 points, which even that, to me, he should have won by a lot more than that, but I don't care. It was still a great turnout.
Right.
But and what our polls closed, and I was watching, because you watched like the ticker on the bottom, okay, this is 5% of the vote, and I'm like, I don't even why you even bother. Why don't you just wait till it's 50% of the vote, and then go from 50% up? Because obviously, like in Pennsylvania, for one thing, they were at 5% for forever, and now now Pennsylvania is not that big of a state, and you can't get the results till Friday.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that. Now, we do have a viewer on, and I will read the comments. And if you're still on, which I believe you are, if you can give me a thumbs up if it is okay that I say your name, even though it is public on our Facebook page. We do respect people's privacy, but I will read the comments. Gotta take off my glasses. Be whatever you want to be. Once meant you could grow up to be the president, a doctor, or an astronaut. Now it means children can change their gender. This person also made a comment. Okay, she gave me a thumbs up. Thank you, Kate. She also made a comment. 27%. Now this is pretty bad. Of Maricopa polling sites had glitches. Really? Glitches. Again, it goes back to what I originally said about
Exactly.
how, that's just crazy. Thank you, Kate. And, you made some very good points here.
Well, and the other key piece too, that when you think about that, is I look back to, if everyone looks back, and a lot of people probably weren't paying attention. Obama, Biden, Hillary Clinton, and some other key people that were actually running. They kept talking about, obviously, really took the word democracy and trying to shame Americans, fear mongering, and they kept coming up, the narrative that they kept talking about, and they all, everyone has got a playbook. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, everyone's got a playbook. It's marketing, we know that. But their narrative was they were very nervous for today. The violence that was going to occur. Are you sure you want to vote that way? Because, if you don't get your way, there's going to be violence on the street, and, which they should be used to because they promoted it with Black Lives Matter movement. So whatever. And I kept saying, why do they keep pushing this violent narrative, and then also inserting democracy at the same time? And then it dawned on me last night. They knew, and I'm going to just say it out there because there are some shenanigans going on. And I'm not saying that every state has shenanigan problems. Not saying that, but some key states are having shenanigan problems. You don't see that with all the states. The obvious ones, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and New Jersey had issues, and I believe that there might have been one more. So even if it's one state, so let's go with one state. Let's just go with Arizona. We'll just go with Arizona. Let's keep in mind, Pennsylvania, you're not getting your results till Friday, apparently. I'm not sure if they must be using an abacus. I'm thinking they got it. The old fashioned, you probably know what an abacus is. Google it. They're probably using an abacus to add and subtract votes. I don't know what they're doing, but apparently they don't know what they're doing either. So let's just go with the one state. Let's go with Arizona. The fact that you have this narrative coming out in tuition or knowing that some shenanigans possibly, and I'm going to say it's possibly that are happening, it looks pretty obvious that what's going on, but let's say it's possible that, because we don't know for sure. Why would they have that narrative? And my thing is, if you already have information and you're predicting like what they were predicting, this violent outcome for today, that people were going to be upset, that the red wave wasn't happening. Again, it's all about marketing and how they're presenting things. Why would you go ahead and do that? Did you have a crystal ball? Did you know what was going to happen before anybody else knew? And you have to, and sadly, do I like to think that way? No, we always talk about how things are out of our control that do impact our health and our wellness and our mindset. Politics is one of them. So yes, we are a health and wellness podcast. So yes, we talk about politics because it impacts our health and wellness. Yeah, whether it's stress, whether it's joy, whether it's frustration, it impacts your body, your health, and your mindset. So that's why we talk about politics. And obviously coming off of this big midterm, we're passionate about politics. We're going to talk about it. But for me, once I kind of connected those dots, I thought, well, now their narrative makes sense. They were already telling us subliminally in their own manner, we already know that there's going to be some shenanigans going on that you are not going to accept, that they're real. So for me, when you have dishonest people actually telling you what their playbook is, and you're not heeding the warning, so I believe that truly was their message. That is why they predicted there might be some issues today with people very upset, aggravated. Like for me, you should be, your marketing piece should be about, coming together, unity, hope. If change comes, maybe change is good. Let's do this together. We're Americans. You didn't hear that from any of these people that really are pushing a narrative. But you did hear the whole thing about, democracy was at stake. Now, democracy is not at stake. You're using it in a hypocrisy sense against American citizens, which is absurd, totally absurd. And it's a playbook of, this wokeism of getting into people's minds and making them feel, because I'm thinking to myself, are you trying to make people not go out and vote with all this fear? Like you should be expressing, go out and vote, like your vote matters, and not try to discourage people with violence and fear. And I believe that was part of their message and their marketing tool. Now, do I think it worked? No, because I think most states had great turnouts. So I don't think it was that. But I do think that you cannot, for me, the shenanigans have always been going on. Have they been going on as drastically or as big and bold as they are in the last few elections? No. But there's always been some shenanigans going on, and there's nobody in the right mind that can convince me otherwise, because it's too obvious in some areas. And now it's even more obvious.
And some of the obvious things, if you look at what has transpired since the puppet moved into 1600, he was supposed to be the great uniter. He has done nothing but divide this country. So let's be real.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah. And every time that he ditches on the MAGA Republicans, like, get off that soapbox. You are not uniting, you are dividing. And the one thing that I want to say, and I'm crossing my fingers and it looks like it may happen, is getting, I got to say this in a nice way. People obviously are going to know who I'm talking about. but the person who sits in back of the president to the, it would, if you're looking at the TV to the right,
The third person in line.
third person in line, okay? My hope is she's out of there. We're still keeping our fingers crossed.
I mean, absolutely, she's done a disservice to this country. And that's, again, this is all our opinion. So, you know, this is what we share. And some other people may think she's done an awesome job. I don't. I think she's got a lot of illegal things in her toolbox that I'm not really a fan about. And that's all I will say with that piece to it. But what I will say, going back to Masshole, is because they're completely blue. Like, when I think about that, even California, it's got some red in it. New York, it's got some red in it. Massachusetts, what the hell were you thinking?
So I just want to say this quick question. Anybody out there that's a listener or viewer of ours that is blue, okay? You voted blue. Curious as to why you would want more taxes and why. I would love to have a conversation with somebody about that. So I'm just putting that out there. You can go to our website, www.TwoSistas.online. You can leave us a voice message. Why would you vote the way you did? Do you like
anyone vote for, like, we're already talking about high prices. Why would you not only vote for more taxes? Who in the right mind likes taxes?
Yeah, let's pay more taxes.
Like that was one of their questions, their first question about voting to raise taxes. Yeah, oh yeah, sign me up. That's what I want to live for. And then this whole thing about, let's give driver's license to, you know, illegals that have no documentation. You don't know where the hell they come. Has any people in Massachusetts, do you understand what's going on at the border with fentanyl coming over, with all these illegals coming over? Actually, you've got some illegals right in your own backyard. Do you not understanding that piece? Like, to me, it's common sense. And it has nothing to do whether you're conservative or a Democrat. Exactly. It doesn't matter. It's about the safety of our children. There's human trafficking going on. You know, is Massachusetts such a bubble that they don't get that? Or, you know, like, what is going on there? I've never seen such a, like, to me, that's, and the quiet thing about that is Massachusetts didn't even really make the big news, the big national spotlight. Congratulations to Jeff Deal, who was running for governor there. He did an amazing job. Jeffrey Sousa-Paquette was running for Congress in, I can't remember which district, but he was out of Shrewsbury. These people ran great campaigns, talking about, you know, what bothers a family, what bothers parents when they're sitting around that table. What are they talking about? They address those issues. And Jeff Deal did better than most people even thought that he would do. But Healy, you know, her first comments are about, you know, underlining transgender issues. Like, what planet is Massachusetts from? I don't know. But it's a sad day. It's a sad day to be a Massachusetts citizen. Let me tell you, I would wake up and I would be screaming. Well, actually, I probably would have stayed up all night long to get those results. But you know, and the icing on the cake of what's going on there is these questions. Who in their right mind? I would like to know. You know, let us know who would vote for raising taxes. Like, that's boggling.
We need to know. And we have a couple more comments from Kate. And, you know, Kate, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And I got to take my glasses off again.
That's all right. You take them off.
Yeah. And she says, they ran and won on an issue of murdering babies, and this breaks my heart. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. And then her other comment is they think it won't impact them. It's those making over $1 million. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of money at the State House. That's why they are refunding us. They don't need to collect more taxes. And then the other comment she made.
That's what I'm saying. Let's talk about that. You know, Massachusetts, like, what season are they going into? Winter. Connecticut, winter. Let's talk about oil prices. Let's talk about electricity. Let's talk about where those groceries are coming from, because we have the oil industry and the diesel industry running out of that because of like the puppet in DC. You've got all that going on.
Right. And her other comment was Ann Healy sold the license thing as being able to keep better track of who is in our state by licensing everyone. They running
No.
ads, and it would be better for police and safer. So when you don't do your research, that's what happens.
Well, and exactly. So let's give that scenario. You can have officers now that they're patrolling mass pike, and you get some fentanyl drunk high jackass that's got a Massachusetts state issued license, only come to find out that he's an illegal. Is Healy going to be the one making the phone calls to that family that lost that loved one? Is Healy going to be the one calling those families of that trooper to say that, in addition to him carrying fentanyl and, being a drunk driver and hitting somebody, he also had a weapon in his car and he shot the trooper? Like, this is the reality of what is going on when you don't have documentations of a human being that has no documentation. You don't know his background. You don't know whether he's a serial killer. You don't know whether he's a drug lord. You don't know whether he's got, his own mental issues, because mental issues is a huge piece of this piece of the puzzle that a lot of states are not addressing. Like, to me, Healy has just unleashed hell in Massachusetts, like living hell. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. My grandchildren are there. Breaks my heart. Just breaks my heart. It's just ridiculous that citizens did they not read? Did they not like Kate is saying, did they not investigate what this question was really about? Like, how stupid can you be? I don't know. To me, you can't even say, well, it's complacency. Oh, I don't know. I just checked the box. No, you're stupid. You're stupid because, God forbid, now you're going to, Massachusetts, now basically that's like an invite. All right, all you illegals, come to Massachusetts. We already know, I can't remember the name of the town. I think it's Southbridge, Massachusetts. Used to be, I don't know if it still is the capital of, freebies. Meaning, social services or whatever. I can't remember what it was called, and that was years ago. I don't know if that's still true. But now your welcoming letter, your welcoming banner to the state of Massachusetts is come. I don't care whether you're a murderer, a rapist, a child trafficker, a drug lord. I don't care what you are. We're going to give you a license. See, you get some ID on you. So we can track you for when you commit a crime. Does that make any freaking sense?
No. And here's something that I want to comment on. Why is it that is happening? We know, but yet citizens that are already here legally, natural born citizens, whatnot, we have to show our ID for everything, and we work for what we work for. And the other side thing to that is I was almost not able to vote yesterday.
Really?
Yes. We have a great thing here, and they really conduct everything very nicely, I have to say. They still have, and this happens like probably every other time that I go to vote, although it's happened the past 3 to 4 times. They still have my old name. Now, if the tax registry who is able to vote, it goes by the Department of Motor Vehicle list.
Right.
My name has been Malillo for over 7 years now. It's my former name. So when I show my ID, it doesn't match. And, the person who was checking me, and very nice lady, I mean, not her fault, said, well, you live on, where you live, and knows a lot of Gary's family, of course. So I had to, go through the whole thing again of, they couldn't find my name. And I'm like, okay, look under my old name because this has happened before. And she explained that, you need to fill out this thing. And, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to vote. And I'm like, oh, I am voting today. I I am voting today. I've gone through this several times. I am not filling out any more paperwork. And I had that conversation with her. I said, look, this is not your fault.
Yeah, right.
But this list goes by the Department of Motor Vehicles. My last name has been Malillo for over 7 years now. So this is not my era. It's your era with this, and I will be voting today. So I voted.
Let me have my ballot. Let me have my ballot. Well, and sadly, those are like minor glitches that do happen.
Yeah.
And, kudos to the poll workers and everyone that, volunteers. As long as you're doing the right thing and being on the up and up, kudos to you for volunteering, because it's not an easy job. It does get emotional, especially, the lines were obviously longer yesterday. Because a lot of people, so I think more so for conservatives, they prefer, which I think everyone should think that way. You should vote on election day if you live in a state that you think that, maybe things are not kosher. Florida, obviously, the way that they handle things, it's run very smoothly, and you can be secure, because you can't, not everyone gets the other thing I wanted to mention in Massachusetts. I know specifically a lot of families that were getting multiple mail-in ballots. That's another issue they have. So again, they went all blue. I don't think they've been all blue, and I would have to research the last time they went all blue. But, they do have some big pockets of conservative areas. So I'm just surprised that they didn't even win one. And then to have that backed up by all those questions being voted yes on, and either people didn't bother to read them and they're going to now regret it, or there's no clear common sense answer anyone could give me to say, yes, I want to raise my taxes. Yes, please raise my taxes. I vote for that. I don't know one person that would bother to say yes to that. Like, are you out of your mind?
Let me line up to pay more taxes, please. Yeah. Let me do it.
Like, who would do that? And really understand what giving an illegal, that you have no documentation on who this person is, the background, whether they're, and I'm not saying all illegals are even bad. There is a small percentage of illegals that really are good-hearted people, even though they're doing it the wrong way. I have no issue with somebody coming to the board and saying, you know what, I want to become an American citizen. I want to do it the right way. But for whatever reason, of course, the circus that is running our country at this moment, come on, bring your drugs, bring your weapons, bring your mindset that, you're that type of person that's going to go after and kidnap children and rape them and child trafficking. Bring your pills, bring your, crack, bring your cocaine, bring it all in. We want it. We love it. We're going to embrace it. So you don't know what their background is. And now you say you're going to give them a driver's license to keep track of them. How about booting them the hell out of your state? Why don't you ship them somewhere else? Like, what is, it's craziness. We froze up a little bit.
Freezing up.
I know.
Yep. A little bit. We're both frozen. Okay, I'm frozen. Let me do this. The beauty of live. You can still hear me though, correct?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you fine. What we're chatting about obviously is getting in the outer wave. So we know we push the envelope of what we were chatting about.
Yeah. So here's another thing. All right. We had a question on our ballot. Okay. And I know this is going to be sensitive for some people. And it was to, do you agree that the Constitution of the state of Connecticut should be changed to allow for early voting? Hell no. Here's what I think.
Election day,
what?
Did it pass?
That's what I'm trying to find out. I haven't found out yet. Election day is election day. Yes, you should have mail-in ballots only if you are going to be out of town, or if you're elderly and you can't make it to the polls. It's just
and you request
right.
Don't just automatically send out ballots out.
Yeah. Oh my God, that drives me nuts. No, election day is election day, period. End of discussion. And you should know who's won, who's won, obviously who has lost their race the night of. Even if it's into the wee hours in the morning, we know, sometimes those things happen, but these glitches are just glitches. I'm just saying. That's my vote. That's my 2 cents.
I agree. I mean, I absolutely agree. And I think.
Oh,
What?
no. Kate said it passed in Connecticut.
For early voting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kate. She's on the ball. She's like, bam. She's like,
I
she's
appreciate
a
that.
little investigator. I love her.
That is effing BS.
Oh, my, like lunacy. Like, why would you want to do that? Like I said, if you're really going to take a playbook like Florida and how they set things up, by all means do it. In Florida, what you go, you wait in line. You have to show your ID. It's not just a question of showing your ID. They actually insert it into the machine. And then you know how they have those electronic signature pads that you have to sign it, that you received it. They want you to inspect the ballot. So do you agree that this is the ballot that you're receiving? It's like, doesn't look changed. There's nothing on it that's, precarious that, you might not think it's valid. So they have a whole process. And again, kudos to all those poll workers, that, spent hours upon hours. And, in the state of Florida, you don't just get a mail-in ballot, you have to actually request it. And that's the only way you can get it. So it's not just a matter of, they do in-person early voting, but again, it's very structured, just like election day. And because they have such a impeccable system that we use here, they are able to be one of the largest states out there, but is very precise on their reporting and accuracy of the reporting, that you're getting results in a timely manner that you should.
Right. And
you compare that to a smaller state like Pennsylvania that you can't get it till Friday. Like,
yeah, that's BS. And let's just be real here. Florida has 69 counties in 2 separate time zones. Hello.
Correct. And we can get our shit done together. Why can't these other states get their shit done together? I don't know. So at the end of the day, it's Wealth Wellness Wednesday. How do we kind of rustle what we're feeling? And what I always say, there's always, in the midst of whatever, there's always blessings. A lot of times it's very difficult to find them when you're feeling all these emotions and impact your mindset. A lot of times when you're that stressed, now it's going to impact your gut, and you got that nervous feeling in your tummy. Maybe it has to be with, now your stress levels up. Maybe you're a parent that's children in school, and now you're worried about this indoctrination. Parents know best. Citizens know best. Make sure that you're mindful of, maybe if you were one of those people that didn't bother to read the questions that are so very important on a ballot, maybe you really need to educate yourself before you just automatically click yes. Because I do think, in all honesty, some people are lazy. They just check it off because they can't be bothered to investigate it. And you have to understand that ballots are very clever. Elections are very clever. Who in fact is wording a question to be on a ballot in such a way that it's underlining meaning something, which it's not obvious to actually know that until you actually investigate what that question really means. That takes time, and people sometimes are too lazy. They're bored. They want instant. They want to know now. They want to check off things right now. They don't want to bother to investigate. They don't want to educate themselves in understanding what's at stake. What are the values that are at stake? How is this going to impact my household? How is this going to impact my children, my grandchildren? And these are things that we have to ask ourselves and do that soul searching to say, you know what? So my advice to people is, when you have that topic of conversation come up, and no doubt, in politics, we're just coming off of this election, you're going to be talking with people. If you happen to have family and or friends that voted blue, and, maybe not right now, but let's say in a month from now, when it gets really cold out and that oil bill is going up really high, and you can't find the formula on the counter anymore. Things are the shelves are getting more empty because there's no diesel for the truckers to get the shipments over to the grocery store so that you can actually, oh, wait a minute, maybe you're not even going to have like enough oil in or gas in your car to get to the grocery store. These are real issues. So when those times come, you remember Tuesday, November 8th, and you say you've got nothing to complain about because this is what you voted. You voted for increased taxes, you voted for higher inflation, you voted basically for a recession, you voted for more crime, you voted to invite criminals into your state with no questions asked. Let's give you some freebies and a driver's license. You're good to go. You also voted for more indoctrination into your children, into their education. Kind of gave the free wand of like the Flaco teachers out there. And let me say this, there are many good teachers and there's many good administrators out there, but there are small bunches of these rotten apples that are infiltrated to your school boards, and they're also infiltrated to your school systems. Be on the lookout. Double check what your child's bringing home. Do not sign off on anything until you've done your investigation, because guess what? Your child is depending on your voice to make sure that their voice is heard, because they can't speak up for themselves. They can't defend themselves. They don't even know what to look for. It's up to the parent. If you brought children into this world, it's your responsibility to know what they're being indoctrinated into. And if you've got questions with your teacher, then you bring it up. Do not like sweep it under the carpet. Well, I don't want to be that parent. Bullshit. Go out and protect your child. If you're not happy with what's going on in your state, and that you're in this state of Massachusetts, which is all blue and all about indoctrinating children and illegals and God knows what, maybe it's time to get the hell out of there. Maybe it's time to kind of rethink your steps of what is better for my family in the long haul. That some states you're never going to change, you're not going to flip, because we always talk about there's two sides of a coin. You've got conservatives and you've got Republicans, you got Democrats. Independence. You're not going to change that. But if your state is not nourishing what adds value to your home, to your kitchen table, to your family, to your mindset, to your healthy, I'm not saying like, okay, let's make an indecisive decision and just boom, we're out of there. But it is a topic of conversation that you really need to have with your family. Like, where are we going to be better off? Like, are we going to be living in this bubble and this stress now because I got to worry about everything that's coming in from school? Our taxes are already high, and yes, our state citizens voted them to go even higher. Like, how can we survive this? Now you're, talking about the heating oil, all that stuff. You got a lot on your plate, but through all of that, you have that hard conversation. You still have to find the blessings. So give some examples, Jan, of what you think. How can, when somebody's feeling all these emotions, what would you suggest them to do to breathe? Where's that blessing? I know it's here. I can see it, but I don't see it. Someone help me. What would you suggest they do?
Well, first, I think this is a really good tip, and I created it myself because I do know some people within different groups of wherever it may be that are blue. And when they kind of come at you with their opinions, which is fine. I don't have a problem with people chatting with me about their opinions, but when it's to a point where I'm like, I can't do this anymore, I just respectfully say, listen, I hear you, I don't agree with you, but I think we shouldn't be going any further with this conversation. If you want to continue it, you continue it on your own, but I'm out. And that kind of is a way for me to be respectful, acknowledge them, but also say, honoring and respecting my boundaries. The other big tip, which I think is really paramount, go into the settings in your iPhone. If you are triggered by all the alerts that are coming up on your phone, go through each one of them and turn off the alerts. You can still go to your app or whatever it may be to see what is going on, but when it is good on your timeline, not other people or other apps or news organizations sending you the message, because we're so indoctrinated. There's that word which I hate, but we're so indoctrinated into all the alerts, and it really is a trigger for many people. So turn off all the alerts.
Those are great things. And I also say too, is really look at your circle, who you're surrounding yourself with. You want to make sure, you always want to be open to differences because we're all different. We talk about this all the time. We look different, our gut health is different, our mindsets are different, we live different lifestyles. But at the end of the day, the circle should really be, and this is how I base my circle. It's got to be about my values. If I find someone that doesn't have the same values as I do, I can still like them. I can still really enjoy their company. But then, you get to that moment where politics comes up or religion comes up or whatever the subject may be, indoctrination, school, obviously I'm very much, involved in that. Where do I, decide that, I can't? It is okay. And you have to give yourself permission, but it is okay to say, you know what, this person is not adding value to me. If the person that's in your life is adding nothing but stress and you can't really, you cannot resolve the fact that, their mindset is completely different from yours in the sense of regard to safety of children, what children are being introduced to or indoctrinated into, embracing the fact that, why would you want to pay higher taxes? Like we're struggling, to make ends meet as it is. And now you voted for higher. When the subject matter is that different or the passion and the values are that different, it's okay to take a break. I'm not saying just cut them out of your life. Well, certainly you can do that too. But really, really reevaluate your circle and make sure that you are with people that are like-minded enough to help you get through these times where you're stressed out, where you're struggling, where you want to just scream because you're so frustrated. Because at the end of the day, and we talk about this all the time, we're not in control of the state of Massachusetts. We're not in control of the state of Florida. We're not in control of anybody. The only thing that we are in control of what's going on in our own little world, our own little home. That's what we're in control of and what we expose ourselves to. The other key piece to it is that you're always in control of a few things, the way you act and the way you react to something. So it's okay to, like what we're doing, it's okay to express the frustration. It's okay, do it in a respectful way. And actually calling people out on common sense is not being disrespectful. It's a common question because it's mind-baffling to a lot of people. These are common sense issues that don't make sense to a common sense person that wants value for their family. So it's okay to question that. At the end of the day, where can you find those blessings? There are many blessings. I always say, when you're feeling like you're being choked up into all of this and frustrated, if you have little ones at home, sit on the floor and play a board game with them. Get back into their world. You brought them in there, enjoy them, embrace them. If you find that you are, struggling emotionally, go seek help with talking to a friend, get involved in your community, your church, on things that you can impact and that can impact you in a positive way. Those things are in our control. And some people don't have the luxury to say, I can't stay in the state and I got to move out of here. Some people just don't have that luxury for whatever reason. Maybe it has to do with their jobs. Maybe it has to do with roots. Maybe they're too scared to make that big decision. Discern. I always say discern, reevaluate, talk about it. Do not act on impulse. Make sure it's a good fit. But at the end of the day, really, really reevaluate your circle. That will help, that you have like-minded people that, when you're struggling, they're going to understand why you're struggling. And guess what? The roles will be reversed. You'll be able to be that good friend and that good person to somebody else when they're struggling. And that's really the best advice we can give you on this Wealth Wellness Wednesday. We do talk about today is the day that you impact people in a positive way, in a way of putting it out in the universe, entrepreneurial spirit, putting that mindset of wealth and mindset going on, because we always know the more money you have, the more ways that you can impact others that need it. You can help that church, help that cause. So great ways to do that, would be just paying it forward, but it's got to be to an unsuspecting person, someone that you don't know. So we're not talking about your favorite charity. We're not talking about your church. We're talking about doing a financial exchange, which has nothing to do about the monetary amount. It could be $1, it could be $5, it could be $100 bill, it could be a $20. It doesn't matter what the amount is. It's not about the amount. It's about the act of kindness and paying it forward. So an unsuspecting person to maybe change the trajectory of the journey that they're on. Maybe they're derailing some way or another. Maybe they don't have enough for that 1 gallon of gas. Maybe you can impact them in a positive way. That's going to make them feel good. You're going to feel good because you're giving out, because we always know that the greatest of all human emotions is gratitude. And that is what Wealth Wellness is about.
Yes, and just one more closing thought. We did ask for people who want higher taxes. Yes, I want to pay more taxes. We want to hear from you, as well as those people in the state of Massachusetts, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, who did not vote for that. How has this impacted you? What are your feelings on this? We want to hear from both sides. Okay, this is the real of Two Sistas. Typically I am the more quiet one, but obviously I've been very boisterous and very fiery today, and
I love it.
Expect to see more of that. And on that note, my name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva. Go to www.TWOSISTAS.ONLINE and leave us a voice message. And I am with Two
Sisters, and this is Carol, so aka Naughty Boss, in the middle of a Nicole hurricane / tropical. We don't really know. I'm looking out the window now and I see already so many broken palm branches. Palm trees are my favorite. We are wishing everyone that is impacted by yet the storm that is really only, like a little over a month or a month and a half from the Ian. Now we're dealing with this other storm, and we pray for everyone. We want to make sure that everyone's batten down the hatchets and just really staying close to home and be safe. And God willing, we will all get through this very, it's a quicker storm, so that's good news. But just be safe out there. And we will see you tomorrow. Electricity providing that we have no issues where I am for tomorrow's what? We're already trending Thursday. I wonder what's going to be trending now that we're coming up with this election. Might be a word, might be a phrase, might be an attitude. Whatever it is, we want you to be the trendsetters. With that, this is Carol, so aka Naughty Boss. We will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.